All of you are requested to keep your phones on silent mode or kindly switch off your mobiles. We hope that all of you had your cup of tea. If you haven't, it's there on the first floor. You may visit it.
Didi, Krishna, KUMARI reminds us. She comes, you have to start all the best. Could you give him signal? Okay. Yeah. But you know now. Didi, Krishna, KUMARI. It's fine. Chill. वहाँ पे अगर मैं सुना तो मैंने फिर देखी.
Sorry, can we have everyone standing up, please?
Didi, Krishna, KUMARI reminds us the root of education is reverence, and the fruit of education is service. Good evening, esteemed dignitaries, cherished guests, honored members of the Sadhu Vaswani mission, and luminaries from diverse fields. It is with hearts filled with gratitude and joy that I, Prab Assis Kaur,
And I, Vani Avinash,
from Sadhu Vaswani International School for Girls, extend a warm welcome to each one of you on this blessed evening. We are gathered here under the inspiration of the Sadhu Vaswani mission, a mission rooted in love, compassion, service, and simple living. It reminds us that true education nurtures not only the mind, but also the heart, where learning, living, and serving flow together in harmony. Guided by the eternal principle, reverence for all life, its timeless call is clear. Serve, love, uplift.
This evening, we celebrate the theme, the Freedom Formula, empowering students to maximize life. At its heart, it's a call to the youth, the torchbearers of tomorrow. For true freedom is more than just the ability to choose. It is the responsibility to act, the creativity to explore, and the power to shape a brighter world. This gathering is not just an event. It is a sacred confluence of seekers and learners, inspired by the eternal teachings of Sadhu Vaswani and revered Dada J.P. Vaswani, and carried forward with wisdom and grace by our beloved global head, Didi Krishna KUMARI. We are deeply blessed by Didi's presence today. She inspires the youth to live with courage, creativity, and compassion. Carrying this inspiration in our hearts, we now commence today's program.
Deepo Jyotirmayo Nityam, Pradiptam Yen Bhasvara, Diva Vayadi Va Ratro, Deepam Dhyayamyaham Sada. This sacred verse reminds us that the lamp is not merely a flame, but the eternal light of wisdom that guides us through day and night. We request Didi Krishna Kumari ji, Dr. Jitendra Nagpal, Dr. Manjuna Chani, Mr. Vijay Thadani, Mrs. Malini Matrani, Mrs. Vimla Datwani, Mr. Ram Dodani, and all the members of the executive committee to kindly come forward for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp. Vani, as the flame rises, so may our spirits towards wisdom, peace, and service.
Let us together invoke the blessings of Goddess Saraswati.
अज्ञान
What a divine beginning to our evening. Thank you, Miss Anubhutani, Mr. Ashish, and all our fellow mates of the choir for filling the space with serenity and peace. The Sadhu Vaswani mission shines as a living flame of love and service, touching lives in silence, healing hearts with compassion, and reminding the world that true greatness lies in giving. From uplifting the poor and the voiceless, and to spreading the light of education and reverence for all life, the mission continues to be a beacon of hope in a world that often forgets its heart. To give you a peek into the world of the Sadhu Vaswani mission, we now invite you to witness a short film that brings alive what it truly stands for: love in action, service in silence, and compassion that transforms lives.
दादाजी का जो मिशन है, ये अगर पूरे भारत का हर वासी इसको इख्तियार कर ले तो मैं समझता हूँ कि भारत से गरीबी और जो नफरत है, दुश्मनी है, ये ख़त्म हो जाएगी.
To me, he comes across as one who has realized God.
Friends, will education be not a mere academic study, but education will be related to life. Let our emphasis in our teaching be on life, life, life.
Thank you. That glimpse reminds us that when education is rooted in values, it becomes a liberating force, the very freedom formula we celebrate tonight. In a gathering where seekers of all ages are present, from alumni and educators to researchers and academicians, it is the youth who remain the center of our hope and vision. Today's interaction is especially dedicated to them, to empower young minds to live fully, learn deeply, and lead courageously. We now invite on stage a respected educationist and a guiding light of our institution, Ms. Sadhna Bhalla. Ma'am, may we request you to take the proceedings forward. Over to you, ma'am.
Dada Sham, good evening. A warm welcome to a very august gathering of educators and students. And on top of this list is Dr. Manju Nechani, an eminent educationist, and we are blessed by her presence because she continues to guide all the educational institutions across the country under the trust. She is the director of Sadhu Vaswani Educational Institutes, Pan-India. May I request Dr. Vyas to please escort ma'am to the stage? Okay, so I'll just give your introduction and then we can speak from here. An eminent educationist, there's a long list of her accomplishments. An eminent educationist and administrator with a career spanning over 4 decades. Dr. Manju Nechani wears multiple hats and very effortlessly and gracefully, which you can make out from her demeanor, and believes completely in the adage, don't ask for a light load, but rather ask for a strong back. And I can assure you, she does have a very strong back. She dabbles in anything and everything and still manages to, I know, often we find her in trains and planes and traveling all across the world and still joining in all the meetings and giving us very sane advice. We are blessed to be headed by you, a very pragmatic leader and decision maker. She also believes in character building and holistic development of the youth. So it is appropriate today that she is part of this particular dialogue that we are going to have. Dr. Nechani was a principal of KC College in Bombay. She was a director of KC College of Management Studies, former secretary of the Hyderabad National Collegiate Board. This board runs about 17 institutions, director of Hiranandani Institute of Learning. Her visionary thoughts and dynamism led her to become the member of the Academic Council of the University of Mumbai, an elected member of the Senate of the University, and chairperson of the Board of Studies for Sociology at the University of Mumbai. She has been a recipient of the Doctor of Letters from the University of South America, and on the board for lots of educational trusts and what I definitely want to leave you with, and you are going to hear her talk, is that she's a very celebrated, exceptional, she has very exceptional communication skills, and her ability to inspire and motivate students, faculty, peers, and us alike will be displayed very shortly. A gifted orator, she captivates audience with her clarity of thought and passion for education. Ma'am, over to you. We're waiting to hear you talk.
Sometimes the preface is longer than the book. So I think this was the case. But very kind of you to have given that very long introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And in my language, I would say Dada Sham. We are so delighted to have you all here. Sometimes I feel, is it the numbers that make a difference? Or is it the quality of people that makes a difference? And sometimes the principals, people heading the institutions, one person represents so many people, so our message multiplies, and multiplies. And here is that crowd. Thank you, Vijay, sir, for getting this wonderful crowd here this evening. Krishna Didi, our head of the Sadhu Vaswani mission, the global head, we all come with her from Pune, bringing lots and lots of love and blessings from the sacred samadhis of Sadhu T.L. Vaswani and Dada J.P. Vaswani. You saw a lot about them. One thing is very clear, that both, can you hear me?
Yes.
That both believed in one thing, and that was love. Dada was nothing else but love. He said, give love, be love, live love. Isn't that the greatest need of the world today? I think love and peace were the two messages. Dada wrote a book, Peace or Perish. There is no other choice. Peace is the greatest need of the world today when we see the violence all over the world. He said, religion, let's not talk about it. Practice it. And that practice of his, Dada said, is service. Service, he said, is the greatest need and the best religion. Did you meet him on the road? Did you leave him with the load? Was Dada's question. Help each one. Maybe a smile. It's not only financial help. People need so much. Today, doctor will agree with me that people live under such emotional stress that one silent hearing, the best form of communication, is not talking. The best form of communication is listening, and none of us do that very, very often. Dada said, you have 2 ears, so listen more. You have one tongue, but talk less, but I don't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Dada J.P. Vaswani believed that his revered master Sadhu T.L. Vaswani was once upon a time equated to Swami Vivekananda and Rabindranath Tagore. Himself a principal, a person of English literature. He could have reached heights. He also was involved, Mahatma Gandhi used to consult him. He published in his newspaper, Young India. But Dada chose the way of simplicity, humility, and spirituality. Then came the next leader of ours, Dada J.P. Vaswani, who believed that he was the guru of none, but disciple of all. He never finished his talk without referring to his beloved master. Dada J.P. Vaswani, what do I tell you about him? To know him was to love him. And those of us who knew him knew what was to love him. He said one thing all the time, that if anything can change India, it's the right kind of education. These two young girls spoke a lot about what the Mira education focuses, so I shall not get into in detail, but Dada believed that New India will not be built in the Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, but in schools and colleges. And I must congratulate the Delhi mission for running a wonderful school under the great leadership of Dr. Vijay Thadani, who has been putting all his best, because today what we need is the value-based education. Friends, today the new education policy talks about value-based. They talk about the Indian knowledge system, the IKS. But Dadaji spoke about it years ago, 93 years ago. Dada spoke about education for women when the word feminism did not exist. I only want to tell you briefly that they both lived ahead of their times, and today the world is looking back at what they had discussed many, many years ago. He said, we asked him one day that why has education system gone down? He says, because you have thrown God out of the window. Bring God back. He says, because we used to have moral sciences, today we don't have. Yes, we have AI, we have IT, we have sharp minds, we have intellectuals, but our hearts need to be educated. Friends, today we have with us Didi Krishna Kumari, about whom Dr. Thadani will speak, but I can only tell you that she leads from the front. She believes that only one focused job she has, and that is to spread the message of the master. She goes with one focus, one goal. Wherever she goes, she wants to spread the message of love, the message of peace, the message of humility. These are, and message of service are these services. Friends, today we don't read books. We Google. Google does not give you right information. Google will give you varying admission. Today, where are the students reading books? But Dada loved to read and write books. He said the feel of the book. One line, one word, one paragraph, one story can change your life. We have a bookstall outside, and as a special discount to the people of Delhi, we are giving you 25% discount. I understand that here there are some principals of the school. My dear principals and others, I want to tell you that if you want to understand the Indian knowledge system, there is not one thing which Dada has not covered in his book. I would urge of you to have them in your library. Bring books back, bring students back to the library, give them what they need. You can buy books to distribute. I think what we do is, Google or a Kindle cannot give you that feel of the book. At least I don't get the feel of the book. So I request all the principals to bring students back, tell them to read, because finally it's a big cycle, will come back. You start before. What was values? Nobody believed. Now all the systems say bring values back, because people find, why do our students commit suicide? Because we have not taught them to value life. We have only taught them success. We have not taught them that success and failure are two sides of the same coin. We have some books outside. I shall give you only few titles, but I request you to please visit the bookstall. One is all the alphabets of good life, from A to Z. Anything that you want to know, love, life, marriage, everything is covered here. So please look at this book. It's one of my favorites. Yes, the law of karma, which nobody can challenge. Ultimately, everybody comes back when there is no answer to the law of karma. Many unseen questions answered. So Dada's book, what would you like to know about karma? Stop complaining, start thanking. I think we have so much which we don't look at, and what we don't have, we complain about it. So please read this book. You will stop complaining and start thanking. We have never taught you that human life is very, very precious. That is why at the drop of the hat, the IITians and IIM people commit suicide in the hostel even before they get their admissions, before they complete their course. Teach them to shake hands with life. Question answered. Any question you want, Dada answers. Yes, the greatest need today. Everyone says, why are our children the way they are? Have I gone wrong in parenting? Today I think parents are almost scared of their children. कुछ बोल दिया तो कुछ कर देगा, कुछ नहीं करेगा, आप बोलकर तो देखिए, अब डर गए हुए हो. डरो मत. This is a book on good parenting. Once you read this, you'll have no problem. That's the same book in Hindi. अच्छे माता पिता कैसे बने. There are many, many, many titles. It's a treasure. It's for you to see what you're going to pick up from the treasure. All the best, and thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you, Delhi Sadhu Vaswani Mission. And we are grateful that we have such eminent personalities amongst us. As I said, that each one of them represents so many. A very warm welcome to you, Didi. Delhi people were asking me from a long time to get you. Thank you for agreeing to be with them, because I represent Delhi also. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for energizing us. You have proved us right, that you speak eloquently, but you have so much energy and a very strong message for all of us. Thank you. May I request our working chairman, Mr. Thadani, to please felicitate Dr. Nichani. Thank you, sir. There is a gentleman here who's a living testimony of what it means to maximize learning and living. A person who's taught us the mantra of minute by minute, second by second. He makes his life count in every way possible. Don't know where the fountain of energy comes from, but he makes all the people around us do the same. I want it second by second. It is his focus. I'm sure you will guess who it is we are talking about. He has his focus, he has a purpose in life, and that, I think, is the freedom formula for us when we work with him. May we request Dr. Vyas to please felicitate our chairman, working chairman, Mr. Vijay Thadani, and then I would request him to please come on the stage. Some more energy after that vigorous talk. He wasn't prepared for this. Today, his minute by minute was, I have to felicitate people. May I request Dr. Vyas to please escort Dr. Jitendra Nagpal on the stage first with Sir. Thank you, sir. I'm fine. May we request Sir to felicitate Sir. May we request Dr. Vyas to please escort Didi on the stage. Sir, please could you honor Didi with a token of our love? Please sit. Before I hand over the mic to Sir, if you don't mind waiting for a minute. Okay. What will be my defeat? What is my thought? What can cover the earth? What is my space? What is my madness? What is my cause? What is my opposite? What is my poison? What is inevitable? What is my grief? What do I revolt against? What is the greatest marvel? These are not my questions. These are questions which were asked by Yaksha to Yudhishthir. These questions today remain alive. We are in the quest for life and learning, the purpose of our being. And just like all the educators here, Yaksha says, you answer my questions first, then I will let you drink water. And Yudhishthira says, examine me. Then comes a series of 54 questions. First answer my question, then I'll let you drink. What is quicker than the wind? Yudhishthira says, thought. If it does not translate into action, it is a lost opportunity. What can cover the earth? Darkness, he says. And today, if not illuminated through our minds, it is a lost path. Who are more numerous, the living or the dead? The living, because the dead are no longer. Give me an example of space, my two hands as one. The power that resides in our hands and the ability to do wonders with them. An example of grief is ignorance, and ignorance is not bliss. Open your minds. What is an example of poison? It's the desire. What is the cause of the world? Love, since we are talking about love. What is your opposite? Myself. What is your madness? A forgotten way. And why do men revolt? To find beauty, either in life or death. What is inevitable for each one of us? Happiness. And what is the greatest marvel? Each day death strikes, and we live as though we are immortal. That is the greatest marvel. The questions remain the same today, Didi. What will set this evening apart is the august presence of a spiritual and a leader and a thought leader. And on the other hand, a practitioner for whom medicine is not a vocation. He changes our minds. He changes and rescues us from various crises. All conversations these days start with stress and stress management. But the freedom formula in enhancing learning and living lies in taking and embracing these strains and finding a way forward. Today, we seek that way from our guests over here on the stage. We hope that there will be a lot of takeaways. Our journeys are alone, but we can at least find some path through their wisdom. Thank you so much once again for being here, and sorry for keeping our sir waiting, but I know he doesn't mind. So, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. And just being mindful of time, I think we should provide the maximum time for what we have in store for us after this. But let me do my bit, which is very important, to acquaint those of you who are not familiar with Sadhu Vaswani Mission's Delhi. And it's sad that I have to tell people of Delhi that about Sadhu Vaswani Mission Delhi. But that's the endeavor, to make sure that more people get to know about it. So our mission in Delhi was actually founded in 1979. That's way back. And I think from the center, the 4 principles which the central mission has, which is reverence for all life, service of the poor and needy, education of the heart and mind, and unity of all faiths. We practice that by nurturing minds through education, healing bodies through care, and uplifting spirits through seva. So at Sadhu Vaswani International School for Girls, we work on a famous saying of Reverend Sadhu Vaswani. The purpose of education is not only to fill the mind with knowledge, but to awaken the heart with love and spirit with service. So our students continue to shine with distinction. We are ranked Delhi's #1 girls' day school and India's #9 with consistent academic and co-curricular achievements that make us proud. The testimony of what I said, you heard a little bit before, and there are 17 of you in this audience who do the school proud with whatever else you are doing in life. I think we have 17 alumni of the school who are amongst us, who are practicing doctors, who are educationists, who are various professions. The second activity is the Sadhu Vaswani Medical Center. It's a reputed polyclinic, diagnostic and daycare center. We serve with a very simple motto: every patient is a picture of God. So free OPDs, heart and eye camps, expansion into physiotherapy and rehabilitation to ensure that there is both advanced and compassionate medical treatment available. Third is seva activities, which is service of humanity, is service of God, trying to live those words. So we educate the unreached, feed the poor, and provide financial support to needy families in today's difficult times. About this session today, the freedom formula, empowering students to maximize living and learning, it's a very interesting background to this. Didi was very particular that she wanted to have a session with the youth. And we were trying to organize a session. So I'll cut that long story short. But one day, I got a call from her. So I asked her, what would you like to discuss? So she came up with this headline that this is what I want to discuss: the freedom formula. The word formula normally doesn't come with spirituality easily. But the original session was to be held in IIT Delhi. And therefore, we thought it should be addressing the engineering students. But I think there is more to it than just a formula. And I'm sure we'll hear about that. In my simple thinking, the opportunity we have is, A, we are in the century of mind. It's the power of humans that will drive this century and the innovation age that we are in. And we all envision a Viksit Bharat. We have fantastic regulatory system now, very, very conducive regulatory system in new education policy. We used to complain about the education system and how rigid it is. I think the new education policies allow us for holistic growth and a shift from rote learning to real learning. The freedom to think, the freedom to question, and the freedom to go. So we have the right backdrop and canvas to work on. We have the benefit of technology. We were discussing just shortly before how technology is going to change learning and how technology can contribute to learning. And new education models are possible. And we have a generation which is very excited because they know they are going to cause the Viksit Bharat. Having all this, why should there be a need for this session? The need for this session is while all this is there, I think the minds are stressed. We lead a very, very stressful life, loneliness, mental health issues. There are many whys to that. Why is it happening? COVID caused it. Why is it happening? Global strife caused it. Economic uncertainty caused it. There's a lot of discussion on whys. There are fewer discussions on what to do about it. And even fewer discussions on how to go about whatever has to be done. I think this evening's session is to address that. And we have two very eminent people to discuss that. We obviously are very privileged to have with us Didi Krishna Kumari, the guiding light of our mission worldwide. She's a globally admired life coach and motivational speaker. She, as a global head of the mission, looks after 16 educational institutions, 8 medical institutions, and 60+ centers of philanthropy and self-development worldwide. Her deep connection with this institution or the mission started from the age of 3. So if there is one living human being who got as close to understanding the two revered dadas, it was Didi Krishna Kumari. She grew up imbibing the values of compassion and oneness directly from Sadhu Vaswani and then Dada J.P. Vaswani. She had the unique privilege of being mentored by both, receiving both spiritual and worldly training. I notice we call spiritual training as different from worldly training. Maybe that's a bridge that she will help us cross. And also has a double graduation in commerce and business law. She leads the mission as envisioned by her mentors, exemplifying the values, 3 important values: quiet strength, tireless sacrifice, and loving service. These you will finding very practical expression in everything that she does. So in her words, the freedom is not doing what you like, but becoming what you are meant to be. So it's not just freedom for the sake of it, but freedom for what you are destined to be. We are deeply honored by your presence, Didi. And then I have a very interesting and a unique combination of people on the stage. Dr. Jitendra Nagpal, who's a senior consultant psychiatrist at a leading hospital in Delhi and also advisor to Institute of Child Development and Adolescent Health. His special focus has been on children, adolescents, and women. That's another very interesting commonality we see between the mission and his value systems. He's been involved in creating health policy for the country and is engaged in multiple fora. He's very passionate about his profession because in addition to his practice, he also gives a lot of time as a director of an NGO called Expressions India, which does training and consultation of school-based mental programs. And I think our school has benefited from that as well in the past. So 2 passionate leaders from very different walks of life are going to be on the stage. They'll first present their independent views. After that, if I may use an analogy from music, there will be a jugalbandi. Both of them will have a small conversation. And then we'll try to create a symphony, because all of us are going to participate, and create the new symphony that we will call the Freedom Formula. So with that, over to Dr. Nagpal first to start the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. What a wonderful note from your side. I would say, Professor Vijay Thadani. It's indeed a very humbling moment for me. Sometimes I did wonder a few days back when I got to know from Honorable Santosh Vyas ma'am to be on the dais with the supreme honor of Didi. I was wondering what is being a moderator all about. To be so deeply enlightened sitting next to Krishna Kumari ji would be not a moderator, it would be a new awakening for me also. So I do take this as a great privilege, but nonetheless, knowing her briefly in the last few minutes today, I think there's so much of commonality to the world we are waiting to see, the world we are waiting to see to be born. And I can see Didi's vision in that coming from the huge legacy of our Sadhu Vaswani ji. I've had the privilege of being in Pune for quite some time as a medical student at the Armed Forces Medical College and being associated with the whole idea of the Yarwada hospital, the Yarwada jail, the erstwhile jail where Mahatma Gandhi was there. And I just discovered, I'm sure Didi will tell us more, about how Sadhuji and Mahatma Gandhi actually met heads and, you know, the moments of freedom, and formulas would have emanated from there about the life of a young human being in India. So that's the legacy we are proud to be associated with, and I'm deeply indebted and thankful to the Sadhu Vaswani mission for making me a humble part of it. I totally would be incompetent for the role of being a moderator, but nonetheless, I think experiential sharing is what education is all about. We learned from our great teachers all through the last decades. And India is proud, as Sir said rightly, and we are honored to have all of you great experts over here. I would say we are indeed going to be learning from each other a lot in the august and the most enlightened presence of Didi Krishna Kumari. One, because education is a totally dynamic process and change is constant. We know that. We started with literacy when we were independent India. We were worried about the number of literates in India. Simple बात जो कहते हैं ना कि लिखत पढ़त कितने हमारे देश में. Well, Honorable Dr. Radhakrishnan became the supreme teacher for the country, and we started the whole idea about literacy India, the national literacy mission and all. And we moved on to the whole idea of expanding literacy into education. And I was honored when I read some books of Sadhu Vaswani ji. I have visited the school, your Sadhu Vaswani International School for Girls, and I'm a proud guest over there many times, learning from the students. So I do feel that education then turned out to be a global definition of human development. So from literacy to education, education to human development, holistic human development. And that's what Sir just mentioned. The new education policy, the national education policy coming after 34 years. 1986 was the last one. और उसको अभी हम 2020 में we have adopted the new policy thanks to the government of India. It actually takes us down 75 years of freedom, but yes, less, the formulas are still missing. So today we are privileged to have a formula for that freedom, the freedom to be part of the largest democracy in the world. And we are discovering that we are the largest youth in the world. We have only 600 million young people who are below 35 years. Only 600 million. And yesterday, I was at a Government of India meeting, and you'll be happy to know that the number of children in Switzerland are less than the number of schools we have. We have more than 15 lakh schools. And Switzerland has about less than 40% of that children, if that is a contrast I can make. We have 1,300 universities in the world. We are crossing China. And we have about 300 million students walking into the portals of higher education in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's a mammoth task laid down by the forefathers, including Sadhu Vaswani ji in his beautiful message in the last century throughout, to be awake, arise and succeed, like Vivekananda ji said. So I think it was a moment to reflect how Sadhu Vaswani ji in the time of Rabindranath Tagore, Swami Vivekananda, and the other freedom fighters took on the mantle for reshaping the minds of India, the young minds of India. We are lucky, we still have that lingering impact, but we need to sustain it, and we have great impacting leaders like Didi over here, and I'm so proud and privileged to be evolving myself in this moment, sitting next to Didi, and also having the privilege to ask her a few questions which are worrying me also. Worrying me not as a factor of a person who deals with mental illness, but my hobby has been, which seems to be turning into a profession or a career, is moving back from illness to wellness. Because the effort of a medical student, if I can take the privilege to tell Didi, we have 704 plus medical colleges in the country, and we are churning out good number of doctors so that we can reach out to the rural India also. And incidentally, Maharashtra has one of the best primary health care centers in the world. What is happening to mental health? What is happening to ability to cope with the day-to-day realities of life? So it's a paradox. So before I move on, requesting Didi to give her address, the paradox is, today we have highly intelligent, world-class students in the world. But the challenge today is only IQ or intelligence quotient or my cognitive abilities in terms of my brain and prefrontal cortex development do not define what strength and success would be part of my life. So Manju ma'am mentioned IIT, IIMs. I happen to be, by whatever destiny, interacting with the centrally funded institutes of India and building up the counseling centers over there partly. And I'm quite shocked to see that some of the most brilliant students of India are depressed students of India. The paradox is not understandable, not explainable. Very high IQ and inability to cope up with the emotional vicissitudes, the trials and the tribulations of life. So we'll have these more discussions. With these words, an opening remark, I do feel the challenge today lies to empower, to have the voice, and to have the mindful heart and the heartful mind of the youth coming forward for being addressed in the largest democracy of our country. So with the youth being the parliament of our nation, why not give them an opportunity? And if Sadhu Vaswani mission happens to be on the forefront of giving that voice to the young minds who carry the mantle of the largest youth in the world, as Mahatma Gandhi said when he was writing this book in the Yarbada jail in Pune, we borrow this world from children. Do we not owe them back in a better shape? So this is what the child would say when he grows up. Papa, teacher, did you leave this world for me? Is it worth living? With wars, with hatred, with non-peace. And incidentally, we are on the eve of the International Peace Day, day after tomorrow. So I think the questions children ask, we will ask Didi today. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good evening to each and every one of you. It's such a joy to be amidst you all, and I feel grateful for this wonderful opportunity, this wonderful initiative to empower the youth of today. It is they who are the hope of the future. I think we received many chances, but we have not fared well, isn't it? Now, it is for us to empower the youth and give them a chance to create a world without want, a world without war. We all have been in the education system, isn't it? We all at least have received education, right? All of us have gone to schools and colleges. Okay, maybe a decade ago, maybe 2 decades, 3, 4, 5. Is there any difference between the education we received and the education that is being given to the children today? Is there any difference? What is the difference? Today, students have availability of more technological advancements. Any other thing? New methodology of teaching, right? More gadgets. Very good. Any other thing?
The value system in the education is missing these days. Moral education, subjects and periods for moral education are missing.
So the advantages of today's system are many. They have so much of exposure. Today they have artificial intelligence, they have robotic knowledge. But let us see to the flip side, the other side. Education that is being given to them, it prepares them for exams, but it doesn't prepare them for life. Therefore, when they come ready to face life, they fail. So it prepares them for life, it prepares them for livelihood, but it doesn't prepare them for life. It teaches them how to grow rich, but it doesn't teach them how to enrich their lives. Because there are so many things that money cannot buy. It teaches them to focus on the material, but it does not teach them to focus on what is meaningful. And therefore today, the children of today, they become achievers, but they don't have that sense of fulfillment, that sense of satisfaction in them. That is the condition of our youth today. Yes, as our esteemed guest said, India is perhaps the greatest exporter of postgraduates and graduates, the youngest population. We have everywhere you go abroad, you will find Indian lawyers, Indian doctors, Indian IT professionals. Yes, but are our universities, which have become manufacturing houses today, are they producing integrated, well-balanced and responsible individuals? This is the question I would like to leave with you all today. What is it that we are actually focusing on? I will ask you a few simple questions. They are not tricky questions. You have to give the obvious answers. Which is bigger, a room or a matchstick? Room or a matchstick? Which is bigger? Give simple, obvious answers. A room or a matchstick? Obviously, a room is bigger than the matchstick in size. Yes? Which is louder? A whisper or a scream? A scream, right? Which is heavier? A skyscraper or air? Skyscraper. The answers are so obvious, but just imagine. The matchstick has the potential to burn the room. A whisper can actually transform lives. And air has the potential to bring down huge skyscrapers. Therefore, our students today, They just need, they can free themselves from all these shackles. The shackles of stress, the shackles of anxiety, of insecurity, of peer pressure, of burnout, which is now leading to depression, loneliness, suicides. They can free themselves and they can actually become the best versions of themselves. But what prevents them? They think they are weak. They think they are incapable. There is a beautiful story of a shop that sold locks. Tale, there was a shop that sold locks. And one day, when the owner puts the shutter down, why do we go to a shop that sells locks? It has a dual purpose. Either we go to buy new locks, or if we lose a key, then also we go to the lock shop because we want them to come and break open the lock. So, when the shutters came down, there was a conversation that was heard in the shop, and the conversation was between whom? It was between the key and the hammer. And the hammer says to the, all these are these stories, they convey deep truths. And the hammer says to the key, you are so small, I am so strong. Isn't the hammer not strong compared to the key? It says to the key, I am so strong and you are so small. Yet, you can open any lock. But if I have to open a lock, I have to use so much force, so much pressure. And then too, I cannot open the lock. I destroy the lock. I break the lock. What is your secret? And what does the key say? The key says, because you use force, you use pressure, you break the lock. You are a channel of destruction. But what do? I enter into the heart of the lock and I just open it. Today, our students, they are hammered with so much of information. They are hammered with information and they are flooded with so many distractions. They are pressurized by social media. And as a result, they believe that they are incapable. They have no strength, they have no energy to be able to unlock the tremendous potential that lies hid in every youth. And therefore the need to empower them. Just as a key can open any lock, we thought today we will try to see what is the key that will give them true freedom. Key consists of how many letters? 3 letters. The first letter is K. K stands for knowledge. You will rightly say that that's what our educational institutions provide. But what is the knowledge that we provide today? It is only knowledge of the outside world, only the knowledge of the physical world, the physical environment. But inner knowledge is completely neglected. This is the major cause of the unrest that we see today. Today's students, they can control matter and space, but they lack self-control and self-knowledge. Therefore, it is the duty of every educational institution to have self-awareness as a compulsory subject in their syllabus. Students should know who they are. What is it that they want out of their life? What is their goal? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Where do they want to actually go? This is what is missing in our educational institutions. There is a beautiful Hollywood movie. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's called The Nanny Diaries. And in that movie, we are told that the main character of the movie is a girl named Annie. And she has applied for a job. And as she enters to face the interview, what is the one question that is asked of her? Can you describe to us who is Annie? And she hears that question and she starts trembling. She doesn't know how to answer that question. And in a matter of seconds, she rushes outside the door. This is the condition of all of us today. We don't know what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, where we are actually heading in our life. Therefore, self-knowledge, this is very, very, very important. This should become compulsory in each and every educational institution. There was a youth. He planted a rose. And he was so excited. Every day, he would go and see in anticipation that when will the rose blossom. Naturally, when you sow anything, it takes time for it to blossom. Finally, he sees a stem and he sees a bud. He feels so happy just seeing that bud. And he's waiting for the bud to blossom into a beautiful rose. But what does he see? He sees that the stem is filled with thorns. And he says to himself, how can something like a rose blossom from a stem that is filled with thorns? And what does he do? He stops watering the plant. And the plant dies before the bud blossoms. This is what the youth of today are doing. Within each one of us, why only the youth? Within each one of us, there is an untapped potential that is waiting to blossom. But what do? We say to ourselves, I am not capable of this. This is not something that I should do. We are not sure of what we want to do, where we want to go, and how we want to do it. And then we fail to water we fail to bring out the goodness that is latent in us. And therefore, the potential that is waiting to blossom, it dies off. Therefore, one thing that we need to do is to give our students self-knowledge, knowledge of who they are. Today, they know so much of everything that is happening around them. Thanks to social media, they know what is happening in the entire world around them. But they don't know what is going on within themselves. But since we have a short time, the second syllabus is E. What does E stand for? To unfold the potential. We need to empower our students. And how do we empower them? To empower them, we have to remind them that they have the power of choice. Each one of us has the power of choice. We have the choice to choose the attitude which we wish to adopt. We have the choice to choose how we will spend the time that is allotted to us. We have the choice to choose which thoughts we will think and how long we will entertain those thoughts in our mind. And remember, it is our choices that make our destiny. Therefore, students should be empowered to make the right choices and not to be swayed away by influences and pressures. This is very, very, very important. Making the right choice. Children should be trained right from childhood that they have to always make the right choices, because every choice they make determines their destiny. There is a very humorous story of a man who now runs a huge business in United States. Actually, before he starts his business, he went to apply for a job in Microsoft. He goes there, and amongst all the applicants, he is selected. And afterwards, he's asked to meet the respective people. When he goes there, they tell him that we will send you your letter of appointment. You just leave your email address with us. You are the one who has been selected. He is so happy, but he says to the person who is speaking to him that I have no email ID. And the person says to him, if you don't have an email ID, you don't exist. And we don't employ people who don't exist. And he feels so sad about it. He says, that means I will not get this job. They say, no, you will not get this job because you don't have an email ID in spite of qualifying for it. He moves out, but he says, yes, I have not been appointed. Now I have the choice. If you were in that place, what would you have done? He had the choice. What were the choices that were open before him? To be discouraged, to be disappointed, to be disheartened. Another choice he had, to go and apply to another company. Any other choice? Get an email ID. Okay. Any other choice?
He can start his own business.
Yes. But what does he do? He says, I have to provide a living for my family. I will start in a very small way. He gets a simple idea. And what is the idea? He goes to a market and he just purchases, because he sees that in his pocket he has only $10. And with $10, he purchases 10 kgs of tomatoes. And he goes and sells them, house to house, door to door. And at the end of the day, he makes $10. He earns 20, 10 was his expense, and 10 was his profit. The next day, he invests 20, and he earns 40. That way, he keeps on doing it until he earns so much that he gets a cart, and then he gets a truck, and then he owns a fleet of trucks. And now, he has chain stores throughout America. And when he has grown to such a great extent, one day he says, let me insure my entire empire. I must get an insurance policy. So he asked the biggest insurance agent to come and meet him. And after the policy and everything was decided, again the insurance agent asked him the same question. What was the question? What is your email ID? And what does he answer? I still don't have an email ID. And the insurance agent says to him that just imagine, without having an email ID, you have built up such a huge empire. What would happen if you had an email ID? He said, I would be just an employee at Microsoft. This is because we don't empower the students to make the right choices. Therefore, they succumb to failure. And the third key, the third alphabet, the first is K stands for, and which knowledge? Self-knowledge. That is very, very, very important. Self-knowledge. Second, E stands for empower yourself. Empower yourself by making the right choices. And the third, why? My time is already over. I will not keep you long. I'll just mention it. I will not pass on to you examples or delve on it. Y stands for yield. They should know when to yield, when to let go. Remember, yielding is not weakness. Yielding is not giving up. Yielding is knowing the difference between what things are in your control and what is not in your control. There are so many things that are not in our control. They should be taught to yield, to learn, to let go. But I think our time is running short, and we will give a chance to our respected moderator to continue with the proceedings.
Yeah, let us give a resounding applause to Ma'am Didi ji for making such a phenomenal thought process roll out into the momentum of the K, E and Y. I think all of us, especially our young people here, would have started incorporating the potential of K and the kinetics of E and Y. Because I think the whole idea was to give some push into the idea of some synthetic knowledge that we are imbibing in schools and colleges, and we allow empowerment to be engaging with enjoyability and yield the results out of it. What a lovely message you've given us as a mnemonic. What comes to my mind, and I think please feel free, all of you, in a short while we'll open the house for your deliberation with Didi also, and you'll have some comments on your own experiential learning, you'll have some thoughts about sharing as questions. But in the meanwhile, since I've been given the onus and I have the privilege to, I won't use the word grill her experiential knowledge, but I'll take the privilege to allow myself with the first question that prompted me when the wonderful acronym of KEY was being discussed and unfolded by Didi. Well, you gave us a hint, Didi, that somewhere here is a child, and we the caregivers, we the providers of KEY, the parents, the society and the pedagogy. Parents, the people and the pedagogy. The three people who manage for the pupil, who are supposed to be the caregivers for the pupils of tomorrow. If I can ask you your experience and the wonderful book written by Sadhu ji about the new age parenting, I would recall a couple of words from there. I remember a Kendra Vidyalaya young girl from 9th standard asking in a workshop, why do we go to school walking in the morning and run back home in the afternoon? I didn't have an answer for that. The teachers should tell us that. Why do we run back as if koi pinjara khul gaya hai? And today morning there's a news in the papers, scoliosis. You ask an orthopedic surgeon, anybody here? It is called scoliosis, jahan reed ki haddi jhukne lagti hai. And they have made the diagram, the Times of India carries this as a scoliosis, the heavy bags which are 7-8 kilos. So what is the role of parents in terms of defining a happy, healthy and a harmonious childhood? Many of the children tell us that I have frightened parents at home, I have worried parents at home, I have helicopter parents at home, I have confused parents at home. What do you advise parents to capitalize on the KEY as the first providers of childhood India, not children India, the childhood of India?
I think parents play the most important role. And parenting is one of the most sacred duty. It's not something, it's not a right, it is a duty. Therefore, parenting should be actually taken as a duty. Once you will see it from that aspect, your entire outlook will change. The role of the parent starts when the mother starts conceiving the child. There is garbha sanskar. The moment the child enters the womb of the mother, the role of the mother starts. Every thought she thinks influences the child. What she eats influences the child. Therefore, a great responsibility on parents. What is the difference between children of today and when we were children? We never had iPads. We didn't see them. They didn't exist. But we were more happy. Our homes were smaller, but our hearts were bigger. We had smaller homes, but we had more room in them for umpteen guests. Today, if a guest comes to the house, we begin to think where we will put them in spite of living in 5-bedroom and 6-bedroom apartments or bungalows. Therefore, the role of a mother is very, very, very important. We as children were not given iPads as companions to finish our meal. The mother would sit with us, and it is at those periods when the mother passed on Indian culture and sowed in us the seeds of values. We didn't eat food till we heard a story. And every story that was narrated to us was from the scriptures. So there was an automatic infusion of all those values in us. Today, unfortunately, parents themselves have no time. Parents are busy living a life apart from their children. Therefore, this is the condition of humanity today. First, parents have to get that wake-up call. Give time to your children. Children don't need gadgets. Children don't need comforts. We didn't have comforts when we were born. It is we who train them in that way. But there is no harm in giving them living in today's age. But along with comforts, give them those values, give them your time, give them your attention, give them your love. That is what they cherish, and that is what will build them. This is the responsibility of parents, to bring up good children. That is their duty. Once they realize their duty, parents think today their duty is to put the child to the best high-end school right when he's at the age of 1. They do that and they think their duty is over.
In that context, we'll go a step further when we come to the pedagogy and the schooling. But we have our revered students over here. Keep your questions ready for parenting and schooling. Just as a guess, going by what Didi is saying, how many of us here would, let's take an opinion poll and be honest about it. In a week, say 7 days, at least 4 days in a week, every family member sits together for dinner, from the toddler to the nonagenarian, octogenarian. How many days you see?
1 minute. We sit together physically. How many of us are here mentally present? We sit with our mobiles in our hand, connecting with people who are away from us and not even acknowledging people who are sitting on the table. That is not eating meals together, sir.
Totally.
Meals together means being present with the family member. This should be a rule in every house. Dinner time, no mobile phones, no gadgets. No gadgets. No TV, no mobiles.
Your comment, student? How many of your friends would agree that we hardly sit together? I heard a student telling me in a workshop again that food becomes nutrition when we eat, laugh and talk together.
Yes.
Otherwise it remains only food.
It is undigested.
खाना पौष्टिक बन जाता है जब हास्य के साथ, खुशियों के साथ, बातों के साथ
Today, we feel it's a status symbol to show to people that we are getting a notification every second. I know of people, continuously they are scrolling, even if they are on the dining table, continuously they are scrolling on the phone. The world will not stop if you stop scrolling. You will be happier and the world will be happier. Just if all of us present here from today follow this one principle, I think we will move towards the freedom formula. Enter the dining table wherever you are, even if it's a party, even if you're a guest, keep your phones outside. Keep all your gadgets outside and be there.
So take the message from Didi. This is today's pledge number 1, okay? Let's ensure that at least, I'm not even saying 7 days a week, I think. You are agreeing, ma'am?
Every meal.
Every meal, if possible.
No if. It is ifs and buts that bring stress,
Didi is being strict
anxiety,
now.
tension. No if. Make the right choice.
Great. Conversations in the family begin life for the young people. And I heard APJ Abdul Kalam ji once in a principal's workshop at Bhopal. He traveled all the way from Delhi. And what you're saying, I reckon those thoughts are from the great teacher, though he was our president at that time. Childhood is losing touch with the child. I don't know if that is true. Childhood is lost in children, then they will not respect parents or teachers. So the whole definition of PTM is also undergoing a lot of change. I think teachers will tell us, sometimes PTMs can be a harrowing experience for teachers also. Teachers, do you agree? Yes. Well, that's a chorus.
They dread speaking to parents.
So we'll come to that. We wanted the student to tell us, what's your take on this important point raised by Didi? Conversations at home. Just give us a 2-line pledge to be taken back today. Why are conversations not endearing, empowering, engaging, enjoyable, and lovable? I think we can hear you. You have a... That's what she is. We wanted to hear the girl from the school. Yeah.
I believe that in today's world, as everyone is busy with their works and lives, we hardly give time to family and conversations. But I feel lucky that in my family we have this rule that at the dinner table we won't have any gadgets and we'll tell each other about our days, how it went and what we learned from it. So it is... something I appreciate very much.
So in short, what we are hearing, we'll go to the next question for Didi. The wonderful part you told us, conversations are impoverished at home. We are having poverty of ideas at home, poverty of conversations. In general, we are saying, we're very happy that some families are really good spending time, but they know that the validation, jisko hum sabashi kehte hain, doesn't come on the likes on the WhatsApp and Insta only. It comes within the 4 members of the family.
Today we pay attention to what we are eating, but we don't pay attention to how we are eating. We have health foods, but the environment in which we are eating is not conducive. Therefore, in spite of having health foods, sicknesses are increasing.
Excellent. That reminds us, I think some of you know about the National School Health Program. I'm sure Sadhu Vaswani students are well aware. You have been partners in that action also. Today we are confronting something which just about a decade back, India was not needing much to talk about it. The non-communicable problems, lifestyle problems. Today we are hypertension, diabetes, obesity capital of the world in another 5 years. We'll be the capital of the world in loss of touch with our elderly people at home. We are going to be the largest population of senior citizens in the world. We are crossing China shortly. So does that get some advice from you, ma'am? The other side of childhood, senior citizens, the young people, and how the family system then becomes a school itself, isn't it?
Yes.
The new education policy tells us that family is a school and school is a family. So what's your take on the relationship between the family-school partnership for a better childhood and young adulthood of tomorrow?
It's only when the home and the school work together can we actually bring out the right children. Both are equally centers of imparting education, the home and the institution. One cannot work without the other. Both have to work hand in hand. Therefore, even schools should engage parents in workshops, train the parents that how they are supposed to raise children. That is very, very, very important.
Absolutely. That was the idea. And I think we are happy that a country like ours with, I mentioned 600 million young people and about 400 million children below 18 years, we are in the mood to actually come back and talk about learning to parent children.
Whatever they may be taught at school.
Yep.
Because in school, how much time do they spend? 8 hours?
Yep.
And that too today, so much of education is virtual education. They are taught by robotics, they are taught by screens. But what children actually imbibe is what they see at home. Parents are the best guides for their children. Children, they are like sponges. They just absorb. They may be told in school that integrity is very important, but when they go home, they see their parents not practicing it. How will they ever think of integrity?
In that context, do you think with your vast experience and being a global leader for a great milestone of such a wonderful organization dealing with humanitarian peace and love, do you think somewhere role models are lacking for the children today? They tell us.
Parents need to be role models. They don't need outside role models. Every parent has to be a role model. Be what you want your child to be. Children don't want lectures. They see our life.
Is it difficult to be a role model in today's world?
Not at all.
But parents feel so.
Yeah, that's why we need to first educate the parents today. We need to educate the teachers and we need to educate the parents rather than educating the children.
Okay. So good school empowers children. The best
Yes.
school empowers parents also.
Parents and teachers.
That sounds
Teachers
good.
are sculptors. They need to be reminded that they are actually sculptors. They have to shape the child.
Do you think these are some of the reasons why you're mentioning that while we are progressing, and our Honorable Prime Minister also agrees that we are amongst the highest economies in the world now and destined to be a better economy by tomorrow, our GDP and per capita is rising. But I want to ask Didi, and I'm sure all of us would be wanting to know, is the Human Development Index not very important more than the per capita and the GDP, the economical growth?
That is more important. A country's standard is judged by the people that live in that country. And today we judge people only academically. But what about their emotional strength? They are emotionally weak and they are spiritually barren. There has to be a blend of all the three. Academics, yes, but along with emotionally and most important, spiritual muscles.
So that's precisely, ladies and gentlemen and young people, a lot of good work is happening in very good institutions in the country. And we are looking at something which I keep hearing from IITs and NITs and best medical colleges and colleges like LSR, Miranda, Hindu College in Delhi, some of the best ones. You have Presidency in Chennai, you have St. Xavier's in Bombay, you have Ferguson's and Symbiosis in Pune. They're looking at humanitarian leadership now. They're not looking at leadership only in the subject you're going for. They're not looking at the best placements of jobs. Even some of the best companies interviewing IITians are choosing non-IITians because they want to be taking people who have resilience, high EQ, people who can survive the negatives of a given job, the great depressions of economy, rather than only the
And
flamboyant
with-
jobs.
Yes, and with time, these challenges will go on
Will go on
increasing. But their strength is decreasing.
So coming to the schools, ma'am, we can boast of some of the best schools in the country, and I just came to know that yes, we have the best girls' school with you now, Sadhu Vaswani School, and with the girl power coming in, the power of empowerment coming in, and some of the best achievements by the girls in India in so many fields, including the armed forces now. Where do you think the application of such a wonderful, I would say the national education policy is so holistic. It takes into consideration the values education, the character building, the soft skills and the peace foundation, not only about subjects. So how does that get actually applied into the classroom? We know it is interactive, participatory, child-centric learning, but it's taking a good amount of energy and time, and a lot of burden on the teachers to be the vehicle, the messengers of that national education policy, which is so holistic. So the burden of the teachers, how do we unburden our teachers? Am I right, teachers? Is it a burden
Therefore,
sometimes?
First, teachers have to be trained
For what? The unburdening.
for unburdening.
So they'll
It's
be
very these policies. That's the thing. No, we need a group of people. Every city has organizations that are ready, but do teachers have time? If you'll ask a teacher, she'll say, first I want to get off some load, then I can come to you. They will have no time. Even if we start in our school, if they are asked to come 1 hour early for self-development, let's see how many teachers will come. Because today, there are so many outside pressures. But we need to really start this movement. Somewhere we have to make a beginning.
Ma'am, the existing manpower is talented enough. I do believe, since being associated with the ministry on these platforms, our teachers are not only multi-talented, but they are highly capable of reaching out, provided, as Didi says, a little bit of a, the extrapolated time. It could be just about maybe 1 hour a month, where they also get the opportunity to unwind from their conventional timetables.
It will not help. It depends on what you want to prioritize.
Of course. Yeah.
1 hour a month.
To begin.
Will you say that we will have food only once a month and it will suffice for the full month?
It can be every day, 1 hour every day. If it is there, why not?
If it won't work for food, how will it work for our emotional health? That is our time. What are our priorities? Even in our policy, what are our priorities? Is it only external, or is internal a part of the policy?
So Didi, there are people, there are trained people, and I'm sure Vijay Saab does look at this as a important vision. It's not about those sessions, it's also about acceptance of children the way they are, embracing childhood, embracing teacherhood, and then helping the parents to appreciate. Today there is a paradigm shift in the idea of teacher as a guru. Why? Why is it so? Why on the PTM day, I come across, let me be honest, nothing less than about 14 teachers I know right now in my data who are on antidepressants and anti-anxiety agents, and the medicines go high the day before the PTM. जैसे डॉक्टर नागपाल कल PTM का डे है, क्या हम कोई एंग्जाइटी की दवाई ले लें? So I said, why? He said, there are harrowing parents. I can't stand them. So am I wrong if I'm saying this? I want to know from you, teachers. Because
first, students were afraid of teachers. Now teachers are afraid of students and parents.
So it is not a good precedence. And I'm sure with the great far-reaching vision of Didi, something can be, it is sounding very hilarious, but it's a very serious matter, because the pedagogy is the future of our education, the pillar of our education. The teachers are the mainstay. Nowhere in the world, 253 million students, homes, they came on the laptop within 48 hours of the lockdown during COVID. It's happened only in India. Only our teachers could do it.
And Manju, to your question, our Dada gave the best answer. That begin with the child. The children of today, if we only focus on them, when they become teachers, when they become parents, they will create a new world. But let us start with something. Begin with the child.
That every institution should orient the teachers. There should be a proper orientation program for 1 week, at least to make them understand what is our expectation from them. And that should be a part of our appointment letter, where they cannot say that, look, we can't come, we have these priorities. I think then every Saturday we could put in 2 hours for them to orient. I mean, I think we can do as long as we have people to train them. It is not difficult to get teachers. We can make it as a part of our norms, which they will follow. But we really need gurus like you, people like you, who can orient. So we need more and more people to orient them in the right way of thinking.
Thank you. That's a very valid suggestion, ma'am.
And to begin with, at least every institution, teachers, how do they come themselves in the morning to school? They are so stressed. They get up with an alarm. They have to finish so many household chores before they come. Then they have to beat the traffic. And then when they come, maybe even 2 minutes late, they have to bear that brunt also. So the school should begin with a 5-minute unwinding process for teachers as well as students before starting even their regular day-to-day work. 5 minutes everyone spend with yourself, a cooling down time. Just imagine the psychology with which the teachers come, and that's how they go to the class. 5 minutes of silence. Meditation is a very difficult term. Silence. Be with yourself. You don't need a guided meditation.
Didi, we had a global conference on meditation, okay, in Bharat Mandapam. The resolution is ultimately for all the ills of the individual, family, society, the whole world. Put everybody, call it very silence or meditation, it's okay. Close your eyes, observe your breath, go within, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, all that within you. I wrote to the Vice President of India and Speaker of the Lok Sabha, please put all the members of Parliament 5 minutes of meditation before start. The proceedings will be smoother. You know, everybody.
5 minutes of silence.
Okay.
Even simple thing of trying to understand yourself. Today, just reminding yourself, today you have a fresh day. How are you going to face it? What is going to be your attitude? We are so particular deciding which dress we will wear when we have to move out. But do we decide our mood every day for 5 minutes? How will I face my day today? Just spend 5 minutes with yourself. All these saying Aham Brahmasmi and all will come. They are all stages that will come. But first, know what you want out of your own life. Know where you want to go.
How to quieten your mind. Silence, all sorts of thoughts will come.
Quieten, if you will start saying I am Brahmasmi, then all thoughts will come. Or if you do mantra meditation.
No,
but
no.
If you have an internal...
Observe your breath and go with it.
If you have an internal dialogue with yourself, the mind is already engaged. The mind cannot be empty.
The possibility of empty is there. If you go observing your breath, go with it.
There's no doubt, sir, what you're saying is absolutely right. It is having a neurobiological correlate to it. It's not about meditation alone. Meditation is the means to that bliss. One, because there is enough research happening in India. The teachers stress, police people, the doctors who have such difficult times through the day, the number of hours, the cortisol levels and the adrenaline levels are not getting a chance to come down through the day.
Yes.
So it's a neurobiological factor what you're saying. So
Proved.
Sitting back,
Scientifically
unwinding,
proved.
silence, breathing, it's not
taking
just about the
3
mind.
deep breaths will bring them that stability.
So there are
Observe breath.
neurotransmitters which are actually playing havoc with the mind and the body. And maybe I think what we're looking at is those snatched away little bit, even staff room, those 3 minutes of pin drop silence with myself. Know thyself and know my breath and know my pulse and heart. We can feel the pulse, we can feel the pressure and the heartbeat in those 3-4 minutes and get back to your work. But that can be every 1 hour, every 3 minutes or once in 2 hours. It's not a difficult task
And I
at
was
all.
just going to say this,
Yeah.
that not only should we do it the first 5 minutes, but
be
every
repeated.
hour there should be a bell that goes in the school. As you said, every hour, just take 3 deep breaths and then get back to your work. Every hour, every hour. When we were children, that is what happened in our school. Every hour, there was a siren. And whatever we were doing, whatever lecture was going on, whatever class, we had to stop. And just spend 30 seconds. Take a pause.
Can I?
Everyone, every school should adapt this.
In fact, it's a suggestion coming from many schools, sir, the students have given. Even after every period is over, say 35 to 40 minutes, the transit time is back to back. A maths teacher has gone, the social science comes in, it's hardly 30 seconds that I have to open the next textbook. I don't get a chance to
Sir, special watches made that every hour there was a beep to remind you that you have to set aside 30 seconds.
Can I just make a quick comment? And first of all, Didi, thank you very much for a very enlightening comment. And I'm sure many of us will walk back today with those wonderful pieces of treasure or little pieces of comment that you have made. The national education policy today allows you great flexibility up to class 8. The rigidity of the schedules begin class 9 onwards. And every school system has an ability to allocate time, as you have suggested, on priorities. There are school systems today that, incidentally, every single evening, they get dressed up. I'm talking about boarding schools. They get dressed up in kurta pajamas, and they go and sit in quiet meditation, in quiet reflection, actually. Yes. Meditation is a much more different idea. But in quiet reflection on how the day has gone by. And they literally sit for 15 to 20 minutes just themselves in silence. So I think the ability of school systems to choose and prioritize at least up to class 8, where they have flexibility under the policy to allow for this kind of reflection, and I don't think that should be very difficult. It is true to suggest that post the 9th class, that there is a very huge demand on the teaching systems to change even small priorities, but even that should be possible. But I think if right up to class 8, which is 11, 12 years of age, if you can actually set the foundations right, the rest will happen. I mean, children who grow up with those in the early years will actually get into the right sort of mold and the right mold to carry on this thing. So just to your point, I think it's very easy to prioritize if you decide that that is a priority.
Right, thank you. I think we have some wonderful questions and the time would be a little less.
But it's 7:53 now.
So we'll just
I
run
think
through
the program was
online.
till 7:30. Till 8, okay. So till 8
So we have time, and the remarks can be part of the discussion we've already had, luckily. It's how can a parent or a teacher apply the principle of yield, you mentioned in the KEY model, to their own self in terms of students' education, and not just provide knowledge and empowerment in a manner which is very run-of-the-mill?
By repeated practice. Actually, the lifespan of every emotion should not be more than 90 seconds. 90 seconds is also a peak. We have to start practicing to learn to let go.
Okay.
And especially make those affirmations the first thing you get up in the morning and the last thing before slipping into sleep. At these two timings, these two periods, our subconscious is very receptive. Make those affirmations to yourself. When you get up in the morning, say to yourself, today I will yield. I will be flexible. And at the end of the day, go over the day. Analyze. See, when was it that you failed? Self-correction, self-introspection. You don't need to be, someone else is not required to train you or to discipline you. Be your own trainer.
Thank you, Didi. In terms of the work-life balance, what is your answer? The success, which is external, defined by boundaries of peer pressure, parental pressure, in terms of social economical success, and the internal locus of my own control and feeling happy about myself. The child would be torn apart today, or the student of today in the higher education. My internal locus of satisfaction, comfort, vis-a-vis the defined, levels of materialistic success, social, economic. How does one balance the two?
Because we have created an environment today of competition. We have to train our students, teach our students that you have to create your own benchmark. Everybody is unique. Everybody has their own talents, their own skills, their own capacity. You cannot compare one with the other. It is we who encourage the spirit of competition, of comparison. Therefore, responsibility on the parents. Don't keep on comparing your children with other children. Compare, let everyone compare themselves with themselves. Was I better than yesterday? You don't have to be better than what someone else is doing. Because maybe cooking is not my forte. I have some other talent. Let me grow in that talent.
There's one remarkable change that India is going through, and from the +2 to the university, the jump seems to be very overwhelming at times. And as you said in the beginning comment, the preparation for life, education for life, and not just for the entrance exams and getting into the best of the institutions. So today, the population in millions, which moves on every day to the college, every year to the higher institutions, they seem to be, according to the question, overwhelmed by the first year, because that's an unstructured ocean of growth and possibilities. School was very structured, very defined, with parents behind it. Here the family-college partnership is practically non-existent. PTMs are not there in the university. So what's your take for a first-year, second-year student in university to minimize that overwhelming pressure on the mind?
I think if they are prepared in school, they will be easily able to face any pressure. You can't suddenly start preparing them when they are going to college. It's like a child. He cannot study only on the last day and try to come out with flying colors. He has to make a continuous effort.
One important part, Dr. Manju ma'am had mentioned, in the higher education and with your experience, ma'am, somewhere the question has come, in the last about 3-4 months we have seen a spate of suicides in the best IITs in Greater Noida, 2 universities, and it has been almost a weekly news. So any advice for the faculty in higher education in terms of, in their contrast with the school teachers? Can the higher education teachers also be given some sort of a reminder, if not training, to be more compassionate and caring and communicating with the senior students?
That is very, very important. Our expectations should be reasonable. It is we who put pressure on them.
So before the very interesting 2 last questions which are similar, I think are very important about the simply talking about girl power. I'm sure a girl student has taken privilege to ask this. Are we generally, in reality, competitively, really looking at gender equality? Are we looking at only the words behind it, or we still are framed as priorities from the men not really coming up to the gender sensitivity?
I think our founders believe, and we all believe, that women are far more superior than men.
Of course. And it's a biological fact proven millions of times. If I can take your permission.
Our founder said, remember, not woman, but woman's soul. There are some women who have a man's soul, and there are some men who have a woman's soul. So the woman's soul, that is what is needed.
I think traditional psychology, and that to the roots of Indian psychology, talks about the masculinity and femininity in the same human being. And it's only the different forms of energy that manifest in the same human being. So I think we need to help our both boys and girls to learn about the duality of human existence and complementarity of each other's love and affection as the true gender equality. It's not about, gender is no more about women's rights, it's about human rights and valued human rights for everybody, dignity. So that's very important. And nonetheless, I think, as you said rightly, the estrogen by itself is a very strong hormone. You know, it's well proven, and it does not remain on impulse, the id and the impulse. It has a lot of connotation to the frontolimbic connections about managing stress better. Women manage stress more than 5 times the men. And doesn't mean that we give our teachers more stress and the male teachers lesser stress, but it means that, yes, women can have a much larger forbearance about daily life events, and this is a proven fact in neuroscience now. So the last two questions are similar, so I put it in one question. Didi, can you give us one freedom formula for the students to live a stronger, happier, and a worthy life? And the associated question is, what could be the values of spirituality in children, therefore?
Set your own benchmark. Decide what you want to be and just follow that. Keep that as your goal. Don't get distracted and create your own benchmark.
So let's give a big hand to Didi. I think it's been such a wonderful evolution in just about an hour. And to me personally, I think it has been such an enlightening, empowering moment to sit next to Didi and learn so much about the basic fundamental things of life we keep hearing every day. We keep practicing, but we don't give it much importance in its reality. So thanks for the lovely questions. I think I know it can go on, and so many of you would be still wanting to talk to her directly, which you can do after the program. So thank you so much for your valuable, I would say, sentiments more than the mind. I think it was a heartful mind talking with her experience behind and the dedication to the legacy of Sadhu Vaswani, who's given the spirit of education to India's future, and hopefully that will be carried on with the legacy of our young children tomorrow as mentors for the students in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this beautiful opportunity of learning from all of you all, and a special word of gratitude to dear Vijay, who has taken a lot of effort to organize today's function. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nagpal, for steering this profound and insightful discussion, which has left us with so much to look forward to and carry forward. And to our most honored Didi Krishna Kumari ji for her inspiring words. Gratitude is the fairest blossom that springs from the soul. To extend our heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished guests and to all present here, may I request Dr. Santosh Vyas, the principal of Sadhu Vaswani International School for Girls, to formally close the evening with a vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Dada Shyam, everyone. Vote of thanks being the last item of any event, I'll start it with beautiful quote from Dada J.P. Vaswani so that I can capture the interest of the audience. True freedom is freedom from fear, from greed, and from selfishness. Freedom to love, to give, and to serve. These luminous words of our beloved Dada J.P. Vaswani beautifully capture the spirit of this gathering and the essence of what we have experienced together this evening. A bright and memorable evening to our most valued guests, respected members of the management committee, worthy academicians, our cherished alumni, and young adults who are the promise of tomorrow. A truly inspiring evening it has been, filled with thoughts that uplift, voices that enlighten, and dignitaries who encourage us to do our best. Our deepest gratitude to Didi Krishna Kumari ji for her inspiring address on the freedom formula, empowering students to maximize living and learning. Dear Didi, your message has reminded us that true education must empower us not only to learn, but to walk the path with wisdom, kindness, and strength. You have given us, really empowered us by giving us beautiful key with 3 key words, that is knowledge, empowerment, and yield. Let go, which is so important in today's world. And you have also spoken about that true education is preparing children for life, so that they're able to face the challenges of life. This is the spirit of NEP document as well, 2020. And when you were talking to us, I really thought, have you read the whole document before coming here? NEP 2020, you know it so well, but it is the vice versa later, I thought. Because what we started with, Indian knowledge system, that comes from the beautiful scriptures, the books that Dr. Manju Nichani shared with us this morning. That Indian knowledge system is what it is, what NEP talks about, it is there already, and that this has been incorporated in the policy. Our sincere appreciation to Dr. Jitendra Nagpal for so meaningfully setting the tone of the evening. Sir, your discerning opening thoughts, the way you brought together diverse perspectives, and the warmth with which you guided today's interaction added both depth and direction to this gathering. Your invaluable inputs, 3 Ps that you talked about, and to elaborately touched by you, pedagogy and parents, which is so very important to maximize learning and living. It has to be collaboration between the teachers and the parents and students. All 3 of them have to come together to maximize learning and living, the happiness formula, what we talk about. And I'm happy to, as we all of academicians are also sitting here, that CBSE nowadays is talking about parenting calendar, educating the parents. So already the calendar is there for the year 25-26, suggesting the parents' activities and the teachers, how they can come together. A single seed, when nurtured, has the power to transform into countless fruits. It's with this spirit that we acknowledge Mr. Ashok Lal Baniji, who has journeyed all the way from New York to witness the fruition of his vision, a vision that sought to weave genuine dialogues with the youth, and which now finds its living expression in the very event. A warm thank you to Dr. Manju Nichani ji for sharing with us the noble ideals of Sadhu Vaswani mission that continue to inspire generations of teachers and students. Ma'am, your enthusiasm is contagious. This evening itself is a reflection of Sadhu Vaswani mission's living message, to inspire, to serve, and to uplift. We remain deeply grateful to the members of Sadhu Vaswani Mission Delhi for their constant encouragement and guidance in bringing such meaningful evenings to us. As Didi says, where love and service become the foundation, growth and success followed naturally. To our school management, Mrs. Sarla Ahuja ma'am, Chairperson, Sadhu Vaswani International School for Girls, Mr. Vijay Thadani, Working Chairperson, Sadhu Vaswani International School for Girls, Mrs. Vimla K. Datwani ji, Trustee, Sadhu Vaswani Mission, Madam Malini Mathrani ji, Secretary, Sadhu Vaswani Mission, Dr. Neena Lakhani ji, Treasurer, Sadhu Vaswani Mission, and Mr. Pankaj Lalwani ji. We remain grateful for your constant encouragement and steadfast support. You are the guiding light behind all our endeavors. Our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Vijay Thadani sir, whose dynamic vision and active involvement have been a constant source of inspiration. This event would not have taken shape without your unwavering guidance and encouragement. Your commitment to nurturing young minds and creating opportunities for meaningful dialogue makes you the true driving force behind the pioneering initiatives such as today's gathering, and we remain deeply indebted. As Sadhna ma'am has already shared with all of us, that minute to minute, from minute to second, we learned from him. A sincere word of thanks to Mrs. Sadhna Bhalla ma'am, our school manager, whose steady guidance and tireless efforts have been pivotal in the smooth conduct of today's program. Ma'am, your dedication and commitment are an inspiration to us all. Behind every successful event is someone who ties all the threads together. Our heartfelt appreciation to Mrs. Sushmita Pruthi for her tireless coordination and meticulous efforts in making this evening possible. We are deeply grateful to Mr. Akash Patil, Director, Dr. Ambedkar International Center, and the dedicated staff team for graciously hosting us in this beautiful venue and for extending their wholehearted support to make this event a success. To all our distinguished guests, principals, alumni, and fellow educators, thank you for being a part of this evening. Your presence has truly added meaning to the occasion. And how can we forget the staff and students of Sadhu Vaswani International School for Girls, whose silent yet relentless work brought today's program to life. As we conclude, let us remember Didi's reminder that freedom in education is not merely about choice, but also about the discovery of the purpose, the discipline to serve, and the courage to live in the light of values and endure. And I'm sure we have taken our key to self-empowerment. Thank you, and with gratitude, I close this vote of thanks. Thank you. Dada Sham.
Prabhasis, hasn't this evening been truly a celebration of love, service, and learning?
Yes, indeed.
We thank you all for your presence and participation and pray that the spirit of reverence and gratitude continues to shine in our hearts. As Didi Krishna Kumari has beautifully expressed, try to do good as much as you can, to as many as you can, in as many ways as you can, and for as long as you can. May these words be the light that guides us as we move forward in life. Thank you and have a good night.